Hello, everyone. Steve Snodgrass back again for the second half of a presentation entitled Integral Ufology, although this one departs quite a bit from the nature of integral theory and integral philosophy. This was first presented at the third annual University of Nebraska Omaha UFO Study Group Symposium on March 10, 2012. In the first half of this presentation, I left you with what I suggested was a better, more comprehensive methodology for evaluating UFO claims using the principles of integral theory. But this approach may have left you wondering if UFO craft and the extraterrestrials that drive them, apparently, have in common with us matter, energy, physics, and chemistry, and consciousness, what would we expect ETs to be on a scale of naughty to nice? Should we be afraid of them? Well, Stephen Hawking thinks so, as does theoretical physicist Michio Kaku, and a biologist who suggests they would probably begin to eat us. On the other hand, we have reports of individuals spirit channeling extraterrestrials who tell us everything is going to be okay. So, what is more likely? ETs like those in the movie Predator or Independence Day? Or would they be more like Spielberg's E.T. or the Little Greys in Close Encounters? We hear that the Nordics and Pleiadians are nice to us and want to help. We hear that the reptilians and Greys are nefarious. So what should we think? I suggest that we should be a little afraid, but given this more comprehensive and integral approach I've suggested to examining the UFO ET phenomenon, you probably want to know what is going on really. To answer this question, I'm going to share my best guess at what the UFO ET phenomenon is. It's kind of a what do I really think presentation. In other words, I'm going to hypothesize quite a bit here, so this will require an entirely different colored pill, which I'm not sure anyone will be able to swallow. But why not? I'm going to take evidence from 3 different sources that would seem to collectively give us some good hints as to what might, just might, be a good explanation. So, based on reports we have all heard, and assuming all of them are at least partially correct, what can we learn from paranormal research, brain science, and what we know about the quantum state, as well as what one particular futurist has to say. So, let's get started. First, I visit the work of experimental psychologist Charles Tart, who is one of quite a few parapsychologists who have studied extrasensory perception and altered states of consciousness. He discusses essential science in his latest book and gives us an example of paddling a canoe, and suggests there are at least 4 ways of knowing something. The first is experience, that is, science involves gaining knowledge of how to paddle a canoe by your own experience and practice, doing it your darn self. The second is authority, that is, learning from someone who has done it more than you have. That is, how to paddle if you encounter a wave, do this with the paddle to slow down, and so on. The third is reason. In reason, you can develop constructs or principles such as, if I paddle left, then I'll turn left. If I paddle right, then I'll turn right. In brain science, which I will visit shortly, these 3 could be considered system 2 thinking. The fourth is revelation, which may not seem familiar to you, but believe me, it is. We're talking about altered states of consciousness, like a dream where the solution to a problem appears fully formed and absolutely convincing, or like a eureka moment in science. This is considered System 1 thinking, and together, these are the ways of knowing. Then, there are also, I should mention by the way, ways of not knowing. Distortions of both science and intelligence, such as, and Charles Tart lists quite a few, here's just a couple. The need for certainty, premature generalization, denying ignorance, intolerance for ambiguity, grandiosity, all the various ways of we one up or one down each other. It's variations on the I'm okay, you're okay, or more often, I'm okay, you're not okay, which is most certainly associated with the field of ufology. Now, on to Dean Radin, another psychologist interested in the paranormal. He performed meta-analyses, a study of studies all put together, on ESP. In his book, The Scientific Truth of Psychic Phenomenon, he uses meta-analysis, which is an acceptable means of scientific study in the, quote, real world. For instance, the reason why you should take aspirin when you get a heart attack is based solely on meta-analysis or study of studies all put together. Radin looks at telepathy and puts together 40 studies in an analysis. Each of these studies, like card guessing and hermetically sealed Gensfeld experiments with a sender in one room and a receiver in another, should, if they are given 4 different possible choices of what the person mentally sending them information sent, chance would say they should get 25%. And they don't do much better than that. Here Radin finds 33.2%. But with 40 studies, the odds against chance of that happening over and over again with about that average is 1,000,000,000 billion to 1. In clairvoyance studies, like in remote viewing, Radin does a meta-analysis of 73 studies by 37 different investigators and discovers odds against chance of 1,000,000,000,000 to 1. For precognition studies, we should look directly at the work of psychologist Daryl Bem at Cornell University. In a 9-part peer-reviewed study in 2010 he published called Feeling the Future. That one is available online. Our group, our tiny ragaband group of UFO and paranormal enthusiasts in Omaha, actually performed a modified replication of Bem's study number 9 and did a live on-air radio broadcast attempt to demonstrate this phenomenon, which, by the way, if you want to look at it, don't remember the date at the moment, but it's available at our website for free MP3 download, www.omahaufostudygroup.com. Anyway, we had no luck, but Bem's results remain very persuasive. There are plenty of replication studies going on at this time. Finally, we have telekinesis, or mind-matter interaction, as in dice studies, where participants try to influence the outcome, or in modern studies on humans trying to change the randomness in random number generators. Here, we have odds against chance of subtle effects of telekinesis, measured at 1,000,000,000,000 to 1. We also have mental interaction with living organisms, such as the feeling of being stared at. In Radin's meta-analysis, odds against chance end up at 3.8 million to 1. Field consciousness studies involve setting up a dozen or so random number generators throughout the world, and lo and behold, at the airing of the Academy Awards, the O.J. Simpson verdict, Super Bowl 30, random number generators, or RNGs, become significantly less random during air times. Odds against chance here are not as robust, at 100 to 1 or 1,000 to 1. If you're interested in more information on this topic, see or Google Global Coherence Initiative for more information. But in any case, remember, statistical significance in the social sciences is 20 to 1, and in the hard sciences, it's 100 to 1. The results are not due to chance. Therefore, all these ESP phenomena are true. They are real abilities we have, but they are subtle and influenced by a great many other things, including your belief as to whether they're real or not. This is known as the sheep-goat effect. Most importantly, in regard to ufology, all of these paranormal, or what Charles Tart would call paraconceptual characteristics, are attributed to aliens from people claiming to have had contact experiences with them.